Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timandasya Chinamsala Shlakya Sakshamritam Yena Tasmai Shigurve Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Kinam. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskachaya Desakarane. Hare Krishna, today we will continue with chapter 13, the descriptions of future Manus. In the next chapter, the chapter 14, the system of universal management will be explained. These are 2 chapters in between, and then we resume the Lila, which started with the churning of the ocean, Milk Ocean. And we heard about 2 appearances of Mohini Mukti. That the first in which Mohini Mukti snatched away the nectar from the demons and delivered it to the demigods. And the second Mohini, the same Mohini, but with a different purpose, to answer Lord Shiva's request that so today we are continuing with chapter 13, and we went to text 11 last time, so we'll continue with text 12 up to the end of the chapter, up to text 36. So we will hear all these Manus, descriptions of these future Manus, and we have read about the present Manu, and we will now hear about the future Manus and 7 sages and Indras and so on. I will bring the verses on the screen, and there we have text 12 that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatra Deva Sutta Paso Vyacha Amrita Prabha. Desham Vyochana Sutto Balir Indro Bhavishyati. I will read the first one. In the period of the 8th Manu, among the demigods will be the Sutapas, the Vyajas, and the Amrita Prabhas. The king of the demigods, Indra, will be Bali Maharaj, the son of Virocha. So next Indra will be a pure devotee. Of course, Bali Maharaj wanted to be the Indra, but it didn't happen in the past time with Vamandev. But still, the Lord knew his desire, and so in the next Manu is Indra. But now, during that same Manu, what will happen? Can someone read text 13 and purport, please? Who is the first to read?
Yeah, Maharaj, am I audible?
Yes, it's not 100% clear, but we hear you.
1 minute. Maharaj, is it clear now?
It's better.
Okay. Text 13. Bali Maharaja gave a gift of 3 pieces of land to Lord Vishnu, and because of this charity, he lost all the 3 worlds. Later, however, when Lord Vishnu is pleased because of Bali's giving everything to him, Bali Maharaja will achieve the perfection of life. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, it is stated, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Out of many millions of people, one may attempt to achieve success in life. This success is explained here. Radham Indra Padam Hitva Tata Siddhim Avapyati. Siddhi consists of achieving the favor of the Lord Vishnu, not the Yoga Siddhis. The Yoga Siddhis, Anima, Laghima, Mahima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, Vashitva, and Kamavashayita are temporary. The ultimate Siddhi is to achieve the favor of Lord Vishnu.
So this Lila with Vamandev will start soon. So Bali Maharaj, he lost everything. He lost everything to Vishnu, to Krishna. But then, after that, he gained everything. So is there anyone who wants to be in the position of Bali Maharaj and give everything to Krishna? Let that thought come in your mind. Today, whatever I have, I will give to Krishna. How does it make you feel? A little nervous? Anyway, if you're used in Krishna's service, then it's all right. Pujam Prabhu commented on this. We think if we give everything to Krishna, that he will give us something, but it will be so subtle that we don't know we have it or not. Interesting. We may say, yes, maybe when I'm older, I give everything to Krishna. One may think, when my son and daughter is married, later I can give everything to Krishna. So we should be in the mood that whatever Krishna wants, I'm ready to give. Good. Text 14.
With great affection, the personality of Godhead bound Bali and then installed him in the kingdom of Sutala, which is more opulent than the heavenly planet. Maharaja Bali now resides on the planet and is more comfortably situated than Indra.
Yeah. When we were studying the geography of the universe in the 5th canto, the needs of the universe are Sutal, Atal, but it is more opulent than Indra's planet. So Krishna takes everything away, but then he gives you something much better. What to speak of spiritual benedictions? Not only did he give something more opulent than Indra, he gave also himself, which is the most wonderful thing. And now, text 15, 16, some surprises are there. So can someone read the translation, please?
Jai Jagdish Prabhu, you like to read?
Yeah. O king, during the 8th Manvantara, the great personalities Galava, Deepthiman, Parashurama, Ashwathama, Kripacharya, Rasyanga, and our father Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Narayana, will be the 7 sages. For the present, they are all residing in their respective ashramas.
It's surprising, especially Ashvatham is going to be a great sage, and also Kripacharya. All these great Kshatriyas and Parasuram became rishis in the next Manvantar, the Sapta Rishis, that the 7 sages. There will be the 7, these will be the 7 sages when Bali Maharaj is Indra. Kripa, Ashvatham, Parasuram, they were all Kshatriyas. The rest are Brahmins. Rishya Shrinya. In the kingdom of Romapad, there was no rainfall in his kingdom, and he invited Rasa Shrinya to his kingdom by sending some prostitutes, and he married his daughter Santa. So in a day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. That now means a day of Brahma is 1,000 Tifya Yugas, divided by 14 is 17, 71 and something more. Now, in our present Manu, we have still 43 Divya Yugas to come. And then this Manu comes. That's Bali Maharaj will come as well. Then the next Manu will come, and Bali Maharaj will be the Indra. And this will be the 7 sages, while Bali is Indra. So it's during the same day of Brahma, because the Brahma is 1,000 Tifya Yugas divided by 14 is 71.42. So the present Manu has still to be 28 Divya Yugas in his post left, out of the 71. So 39% of his life is over, the present Manu. This is some mathematics between. That's 17. So someone can read the next one.
In the 8th Manvantara, the great powerful personality of Godhead, Sarvabhauma, will take birth. His father will be Devaguhya and his mother will be Saraswati. He will take the kingdom away from Purandara, Lord Indra, and give it to Bali Maharaja.
Mm-hmm. So now Indra.
Purushottam was cursed by Lord Krishna to handle 1,000 of years.
Maybe someone can mute.
Sorry.
Yeah, we have some competition. I don't mind. But 17 here. Now Indra, he has the kingdom of heaven. It will be taken from Bali Maharaj. But again, in the next incarnation of the Lord, it will be given to Bali. So, of course, if our present Indra, his name is Purandar, if he reads the Bhagavatam, then he knows. It's in the Bhagavatam. So Indra is a post. Indra means king of heaven, just like president is a post. Verse 18, yes.
O king, the ninth Manu will be Dakshasevarni, who is born of Varuna. Among his sons will be Buddhaketu and Deeptaketu.
So the next Manu will be Varuna. It will go from Vaishvata Manu, with fire, sun god, to water. Interesting. Now, verse 19, we can go on Please read from 19 till 22.
In this 9th Manvantara, the Paras of Marchiharpsas will be among the demigods. The king of heaven, Indra, will be named Abda, and Dirthiman will be among the 7 sages.
Please continue.
Rishabhadeva, a portal incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will take birth from his father, Ayusman, and his mother, Abdara. He will enable the Indra name Abda Arpuda to enjoy the opulence of the 3 worlds.
Mhm.
The son of Uba, Ubasloha, known as Brahmas Savarni, will be the 10th Manu. Purvasana will be among his son, and the Brahmanas headed by Hevesman will be the 7th sages.
Yeah. And text 22.
Hevesman, Sukrat, Satya, Jaya, Murti, and other will be the 7 sages. The Suvarsanas and Virusadas will be among the demigods, and Sambhu will be their king Indra.
One comment of our commentators mentions that the Sambhu mentioned here is not Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is also called Sambhu, the best among the devotees. Can someone else read 23 to 25?
In the home of Vishwasrata, a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear from the womb of Bishuchi as the incarnation known as Bisvaksena. He will make friends with Shambhu.
Yes. 24, continue.
In the 11th Manvantara, the Manu will be Dharma Savarni, who will be extremely learned and in spiritual knowledge. From him, there will come 10 sons, headed by Satya Dharma.
Yeah, continue.
The Vihangamas, the Kamagamas, Nirvana Ruchis, and others will be the demigods. The king of the demigods, Indra, will be Vaidhrita, and the 7 sages will be headed by Aruna.
Aruna is the charioteer of the sun god Vivasvan and the brother of Garuda. Their father must be Kashyapa Muni. Text 26, we will now read till the end. Yeah.
The son of Aryaka, known as Dharma Setu, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will appear from the womb of Vaidhrita, the wife of Aryaka, and will rule the 3 worlds. O king, the 12th Manu will be named Rudra Savarni, Devavan, Upadeva, and Deva Shrestha will be among his sons. In this Manvantara, the name of Indra will be Rita Dhama, and the demigods will be headed by Haritas. Among the sages will be Tapumurti, Tapasvi, and Agni Dhraka. Named Sunrita, and the father named Satya Yashashaha, Satya Shaha, will come Swadhama, a partial incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will rule that Manvantara. The 13th Manu will be named Deva Savarni, and he will be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. Among his sons will be Chitrasena and Vichitra.
Can someone else read now? 31 till 36.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ojasvi Prabhu is not there, and Pandav Sati Mataji is also not there. So the next person, Radha Madhav Mataji, you're next, right?
Mataji, she is not well. She has put a message in the group. She is not able to
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. So Radha Murthy Mataji, if you're there, you can read.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In the 13th Manvantara, the Sukarmas and Sutramas will be among the demigods. Devaspati will be king of heaven, and Nirmoka and Tattvadasha will be among the 7 sages. Text 32. The son of Devhotra, known as Yogeshwara, will appear as a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His mother's name will be Brihati. He will perform activities for the welfare of Devaspati. Text 33. The name of the 14th Manu will be Indra Savarni. He will have sons like Uru, Gambhira, and Buddha. Text 34. The Pavitras and Chakshushas will be among the demigods, and Shuchi will be Indra, the king of heaven. Agni, Bahu, Shuchi, Shuddha, Magd, and other of great austerity will the 7 sages. Text 35. O King Parikshit, in the 14th Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear from the womb of Vitana, and his father's name will be Satrayana. This incarnation will be celebrated as Brihad Bhanu, and he will administer spiritual activities. Text 36.
Yes, last one. Just a moment. So,
O King, I have now described to you the 14 Manus appearing in the past, present, and future. The total duration of time ruled by these Manus is 1000 Yuga cycle. This is called a Kalpa, or 1 day of Lord Brahma. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 18th canto, 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description of Future Manus. Hare Krishna.
so thank you. So we have heard 14 Manus, and now we will hear in the next chapter what these Manus do. Chapter 14, the system of universal management. Text 1. Yeah, Mother Antaranga Tulsi, please.
Thank you, Shri Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, I have some questions in this chapter. So the first one is, we see that all the 14 Manus are explained, and we are in the 7th Manvantara. So the future is also so detailedly explained, like it is completely pre-planned. We are seeing who will be Indra, who will be 7 sages, who will be the parents of these Manus and everything. So if this is so clear, then why is there, I mean, do the personalities in the heavenly planet, they know this because naturally we all know Bhagavatam as a scripture. So then why is the fighting for the post of Indra when they know that this person is going to be the Indra for this entire Manvantara? Next person will get a chance. So they know it's all predetermined. So then why we find Bali Maharaj is fighting for Indra's post? Or we also find whenever somebody performs tapasya, Indra gets insecure and he goes to stop them, fearing his post might go away. But he knows that he's supposed to know that he's going to be the Indra for this entire Manvantara. So why is it so, Maharaj?
Yeah, so this, as we will hear in chapter 14 now, all these Indras and these Manus and these Saptarishis, they are appointed by the personality of Godhead. So they are already appointed, but he appoints them. You see in the names, there are many are his devotees from previous, and he engages them. That is planned. So that's the order of the Lord. That and if we don't accept it, then we fight against the order of the Lord. But that's useless. that fighting, and that will be very clear in the chapter where Bali Maharaj surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the next chapter, that he wanted to become Indra, but he could not go against the rule of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he could not be Indra. But because he surrendered, he was a pure devotee, he's allowed to be the Indra in the next Manu, that's appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yes, why do people fight against their destiny and so on? It's because out of ignorance. That's why they do it. But it's useless. It's completely useless. And that will appear from the pastime of Bali Maharaj, that Krishna had already appointed them. Does that help?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
One more question was, we find that in every Manvantara, the incarnation of the Lord is there. Plenary expansion will be formed in the form Yagya or Rishabhadeva, or so many names are coming. So this is the Manvantara avatar, right? In every Manvantara, there is at least one avatar of the Lord.
Usually, yes.
That is the Manvantara avatar.
I don't know if that's given, but because in our Manvantar, many incarnations appeared. Lord Krishna appeared, Lord Chaitanya, Buddha appeared, so many. So it's up to the Lord to decide. But yes, mostly the Lord appeared every day of the Lord. At least once a day of Brahman, he appears, and many times much more.
No, my question is about, like, we find there are 14 Manvantaras in Brahma's one day, and in all of this, in the time of each Manvantara, we found the description that the Lord appears and he is helping Indra. He appears as like Purandara's post will be taken away by the Lord and given to Bali. That is one incarnation of the Lord described. Then there is another in another Manvantara, he comes in the form of Hari, and he preaches to Sanaka. So we saw in every verse, when description of one Manvantara is happening, who will be Manu, who will be Indra, there is also one incarnation being mentioned.
Yep.
So this is the Manvantara incarnation, and the other incarnation appear. Like we know that there is Narsimhadev appeared, Lord Rama appeared, and Buddha appeared, Kalki will appear. So these personalities are not listed here because they are not Manvantara avatar, they're Leela avatars. Is that the difference? Like there are varieties of incarnation. So are these mentioned here in this chapter, the Manvantara avatars, and the rest are Leela avatars, like that?
Yeah, the Manvantara avatars, it's not always the Supreme Lord. Can also be an appointed Shiva. Swambhuva Manu was one of them. But yes, the Lord appears regularly. But to say that he has to appear in every Manu, every Manvantar, that's I don't see that's a rule. That the Lord is independent, but he may appear much more times than one time. Yeah. Interesting. Something else?
Yes, Maharaj. One more question was about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know, appears once in a day of Brahma. That is once in a kalpa. That is 14 Manvantaras are there, but he doesn't appear in every Manvantara. He appeared only in the 7th Manvantara, which is only once in a day of Brahma. So, so the rest of the incarnations like Krishna, Rama, Buddha, do they appear in other times? Is it predicted somewhere in Bhagavatam or some other scripture that Mahaprabhu appears only once in a day of Brahma, but the other incarnations, they might come in many times in one day of Brahma? Why is it that we give Mahaprabhu that he's so much?
Like Lord Krishna appears, if I'm not mistaken, the at the 28th Manvantar. And in that, and he appears in the Divya Yuga, where Dwapara Yuga and Treta Yuga reversed. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, Lord Krishna appears, and in the next Kali Yuga, he appears again as Lord Chaitanya. But according to my knowledge, it's mentioned somewhere in the scriptures that when Lord, that the Lord appears always like that, but but it's not always that he comes as Lord Chaitanya. It can be also representative, that but not Krishna himself, to propagate the holy names in Kali Yuga. Yeah, that's as far as I remember. Interesting.
Maharaj, you mentioned that Krishna appears in the 28th Manvantara, but we are now in the 7th Manvantara.
No, in the 28th Divya Yuga of
Okay.
this Manvantara. 28 Divya Yuga. There's 71 Divya Yugas. Yeah.
And one last question I had, Maharaj. In this pastime of how it is mentioned that Purandara is the Indra, and the Lord will come and take away the post of Indra from Purandara and give it to Bali. So this so then what happens we know the lifetime of Brahma, we know the lifetime of heavenly earthly beings. So what is the lifetime of these demigods? Like, we know that they cannot die, or they cannot attain old age in the heavenly planets. It is not possible there. So what happens to these personalities? Do they get old, or like their post goes away, and then what happens to them?
Well, of course, we know from this chapter, every Manvantar, during the life of the Manvantar, because these details are explained in the next chapter, that how long they live and how they change posts and what their duty is in each of these positions. So we will hear about that. Okay, thank you. Jai Govinda Prabhu.
Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai.
Maharaj, now in the text 14, it's mentioned Suthala planet is much more opulent than heavenly planet. But in Shastras, people aspires to go for the heavenly planets for the enjoyment. Why they don't go for the lower planetary system, Maharaj?
And that because the lower planetary systems are more opulent, but are not in the mode of goodness. There's not so much sunlight, indirect sunlight, that it's impression and ignorance, that demigods do not want to go to such place. Sutal and Patal and these planets, the light is not given by the sun, but by the reflection of jewels. And they live a very opulent life, but sometimes the Sudarshan Chakra of Krishna appears there and kills so many suddenly. So you're always in anxiety that it's more opulent, but it's still a miserable place. The heavens is a better option for those who want sense gratification, not for devotees. The heavenly planets for devotees are also hellish. It doesn't matter for them. Does that help?
Yeah, Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, one more question. In the next verse, Vasudeva will become the Saptarshi in the 8th Manvantara.
Yeah.
Just I want to understand why he'll come as the Saptarshi, Maharaj. He's like literary incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why he'll take the I don't say inferior position, but it's I can say lesser position than the literary incarnation of the Lord.
Yeah, that was a nice position, but now he's given another service by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he must learn to do that service as a humble devotee and humble servant. So for a devotee, whatever service one does, it doesn't matter where and how. I remember my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Charamaj, that's where I've got brother, he's a brahmachari, he stays at the Bhaktivinoda Manor. And he was asking my Guru Maharaj, should I stay here or should I go to India to serve in a temple? And Guru Maharaj explained that it doesn't matter where you go. You just do your service and hear the Bhagavad. That it does not matter all these things. What kind of service? That it's all false prestige. That Vyasadeva is in one lifetime the literary incarnation, in the other is to serve in another position. That Srila Prabhupada did that also sometimes. He was moving one from a devotee from one place in management to another in another function. That yes, that's the will of the Supreme Lord. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yadaraj Krishna Prabhu, please.
Okay, Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, the Manu, their names are Dharma Savarni, Rudra Savarni, Devas Savarni. What's the meaning of Savarni, Maharaj?
I'm not the Sanskrit specialist. Savarni, what is the name? Can you say the name again?
Because we see the name, for example, 10th Manu Brahma Savarni, 11th Manu Dharma Savarni, 12th Rudra Savarni, all Savarni. So, what's the meaning of Savarni?
Which text are you speaking about?
No, some texts mention the names of the Manus. So actually, I compile all the 14 Manus. So the name finishes with Savarni. So I wonder what Savarni means.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Savarni. Savarni. Let us see. Savarni. Hit list. Yeah, so many. Dharma Savarni. Most are from this chapter. That Savarni.
Maybe Antaranga Mataji, do you know any meaning of Savarni?
No, Prabhu.
Savarni.
Prabhu, if you see in the 11th text, O King, when the period of the 8th Manu arrives, Savarni will become the Manu. So Nirmoka and Virajaska will be among his sons. So it must be just the name, Prabhu.
Oh, name. Okay.
The 11th text, if you see.
Yeah, it's also like in the 4th canto.
Oh, maybe the name, yeah.
There are various Manus. It's also it's clearly related to this Manus.
Okay.
It's interesting. Yeah, it is indeed a name that comes back.
Yeah, the 11th verse clearly says Savarni is a name, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Of course, names can have also a meaning, but like, yeah. Anyway, it's interesting.
Okay.
Savarni. Okay, then we start with chapter 14, the system of universal management. I will read text 1, 2. Maharaj spreekt het inquired. O most opulent Sukadev Goswami, please explain to me how Manu and the others in each Manvantar are engaged in their respective duties, and by whose order they are so engaged. Sukadev Goswami said the Manus, the sons of Manu, the great sages, the Indras, and all the demigods, O king, are appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations, such as Jahya. So here is the answer to the questions. How the Manus get their position, not only the Manus, also Indra and all the demigods are appointed by the incarnation of the Lord. This is how all of them get their positions. They are appointed. Now, text 3, 4. Someone can read 3, 4, please.
O king, I have already described to you various incarnations of the Lord, such as Yajna. The Manus and others are chosen by these incarnations, under whose direction they conduct the universal affairs. The Manus execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his various incarnations.
Yeah, they execute the orders. And then text 4.
At the end of every 4 yugas, the great saintly persons, upon seeing that the eternal occupational duties of mankind have been misused, re-establish the principles of religion.
So that's their duty. Purport.
In this verse, the words dharma and sanatana are very important. Sanatana means eternal and dharma means occupational duties. From Satyuga to Kalyuga, the principles of religion and occupational duty gradually deteriorate. In Satyuga, the religious principles are observed in full without deviation. In Treta Yuga, however, these principles are somewhat neglected and only 3/4 of the religious duties continue. In Dwapar Yuga, only half of the religious principles continue, and in Kali Yuga, 1/4 of the religious principles which gradually disappear. At the end of the Kali Yuga, the principles of religion or the occupational duties of humanity are almost lost. Indeed, in this Kali Yuga, we have passed through only 5,000 years, yet the decline of Sanatana Dharma is very prominent. The duty of saintly persons, therefore, is to take up seriously the cause of Sanatana Dharma and try to re-establish it for the benefit of entire human society. The Krishna consciousness movement has been started according to this principle, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.3.51. Kalar dosh nide rajan asti ek mahan guna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param vraje. The entire Kali Yuga is full of faults. It is like an unlimited ocean of faults. But the Krishna consciousness movement is very authorized. Therefore, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who 500 years ago inaugurated the movement of Sankirtan, Krishna Kirtan, we are trying to introduce this movement according to superior orders all over the world. Now, if the inaugurators of this movement strictly follow the regulative principles and spread this movement for the benefit of all human society, they'll certainly usher in new way of life by re-establishing Sanatan Dharma, the eternal occupational duties of humanity. The eternal occupational duty of the human being is to serve Krishna. Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishna Nityadas. CC Madhya 20.108. This is the purport of Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means Nitya or eternal, and Krishna Das means servant of Krishna. The eternal occupational duty of human being is to serve Krishna. This is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement.
Thank you. I will now go again through the purport gradually. So 71 times in each Manu, the sages have to re-establish. This happens 71 times in Manu's life. They have to re-establish the principles of religion. So he lives for 71 Divya Yugas. So this means it was practically a yearly affair to re-establish the religious principles again. So practically almost every year he lives for 71 yugas, and everyone lives 100 years. Every year and a half or so he has to do this work. And the sages, the greatly saintly persons, help him. So in the purport, that in this verse, the word Sanatan, the word Dharma and Sanatana are very important. Sanatan means eternal and Dharma means occupational duties. That from the Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga, the principles of religion and occupational duty hardly deteriorate. In Satya Yuga, the religious principles are observed in full without deviation. In Treta Yuga, however, these principles are somewhat neglected and only 3/4 of the religious duties continue. In Dwapara Yuga, only half of the religious principles continue. And in Kali Yuga, 1/4 of the religious principles will hardly disappear. At the end of Kali Yuga, 1/4. At the end of Kali Yuga, the principles of religion or occupational duty of humanity are almost lost. Indeed, this Kali Yuga has passed through only 5,000 years. Yet the decline of the Sanatana Dharma is very prominent. So just imagine, what will it be after 432 years have passed? Well, Kali Yuga is for 432,000 years and 5,000 have passed. There's still 427,000 to go. So next 10,000 years we have our Harinam Sankirtan, but after that it's going to be very, very bad. So therefore, the duty of saintly persons, therefore, is to take up seriously the cause of Sanatana Dharma, and try to establish it for the benefit of the entire human society. And then the Krishna conscious movement has been started to these principles. And then a verse is quoted from the 12th canto, describing the situation in Kali Yuga, that the entire Kali Yuga is full of faults. It's like an unlimited ocean of faults, but the Krishna conscious movement is very authorized. Therefore, following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who 500 years ago inaugurated the movement of the Sankirtan, Krishna Kirtan, we are trying to introduce this movement according to the superior orders of the Lord, according to the supreme orders all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada has his superior orders, and we have our superior orders to re-establish religious principles, but now they are lost. So now, if the inaugurators of this movement strictly follow the regulative principles and spread the movement for the benefit of all human society, they will certainly usher in a new way of life by re-establishing Sanatan Dharma, the eternal occupational duty of humanity. So if we help to spread the movement, then we are doing the same as the Manu and the sages at the end of the 4 yugas. If we are part of this movement, we have the same duty as all these great sages. So what is the sub and substance of the Krishna conscious movement? The eternal occupational duty of the human being is to serve Krishna. It's to serve Krishna. So the essence of our movement is serving Krishna. Even today, the meaning of duty is lost. Duty to the parents, duty to the government. In the future, parents will eat their children. Now already they have abortion, killing their children in the womb. So there is no morality. There are great wars, especially today. So this is going on. So Narayan is asking Srila Prabhupada, this is in a conversation in 1969. It's between Srila Prabhupada and Ginsberg, Allen Ginsberg. Allen Ginsberg was this famous hippie poet helping Srila Prabhupada. They had big kirtans together in New York and San Francisco. He organized also the big Avalon ballroom event. So yes, Allen Ginsberg may be happy that the devotees are remembering his name. That I think he left us in 1996. I remember when he passed away. That's for wherever he may be, there is an appreciation of his service. Oh, yes. Yes, and Allen Ginsberg, I noted here, left this world on the 4th of May 1997. He was 70 years old. Prabhupada describes to Allen Ginsberg, how bad Kali Yuga was going to get. How there would be no plants anymore or no trees. All animals would be carnivorous, or all animals will eat people. People will also be cannibals. There will be big seats surrounded by skin, and the few devotees who would be there would live in caves. If you come back to Kali Yuga, then you will be living in a cave as a devotee. And Allen Ginsberg asked Srila Prabhupada, and what with your disciples? Will they be still around at that time? Srila Prabhupada said, no, my disciples will have come back to Godhead by then. Then Allen Ginsberg said, oh really? And Srila Prabhupada replied, yes, they are very advanced. They are going back to Godhead very shortly. They are chanting and they are following the process. They are becoming pure devotees in this lifetime. So that is also true for everyone who is following Srila Prabhupada. If we are following, chanting 16 rounds, following the regulated principles, so many times he guaranteed, then you are going back to Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada said, and what will happen to the rest of us? Srila Prabhupada said, at the end of Kali Yuga, I will eat you and you will eat me. To avoid this, you must go back to Godhead. These predictions are already happening, and we are already 5,000 years in Kali Yuga. The next 10,000 years will be not too bad. But if you go to Svarga, Then you make it for living in the caves. Do it, go back in this lifetime back to Godhead. Don't come back here. Yes, Bimal Prasad Prabhu, enlighten us.
Actually, no, Maharaj, it's like there was this question regarding Savarni. So it's there in the Monier's William Dictionary. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it talks about Savarni means the son I mean the child, the son of sun.
The son of
Surya.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
son of, so it's like because the sun is called Suvarna. So from the Suvarna, the derivative is coming Savarni. And all of these are brothers actually. This Indra Savarni, Daksha Savarni, Brahma Savarni, all of them are brothers. I mean, all of them are sons of the same sun god. So after one brother, the other brother takes the throne. Therefore, everybody is known by the name Brahma Savarni, Indra Savarni, Daksha Savarni. They're all sons of sun god.
Okay.
Suvarna.
That gives us a deeper insight. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Then we go to text 5. Can someone read text 5 and the purport?
Thereafter, O king, the Manus, being fully engaged according to the instruction of the Supreme Personality Godhead, directly re-established the principle of occupational duty in its full 4 parts. Purport: Dharma or occupational duty can be established in its full 4 parts as explained in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita 4.1, the Lord says, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvakave abravit. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. This is the process of disciplic succession. Following the same process, the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the principle of Bhagavad Gita as it is without deviation all over the world. If the fortunate people of this time accept the instruction of Lord Krishna, they will certainly be happy in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted everyone, at least in India, to become a preacher of this mission. In other words, one should become a guru and preach the Lord's instruction all over the world for the peace and prosperity of humanity.
Thank you. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining what is happening right now is the same that happens at the end of each Divya Yuga. 4 yugas with the Manus and the sages. So they spread the Krishna conscious movement all over the world and re-established the principles of religion. So when Prahlad Maharaj was preaching to his friends, that he said, "My dear young friends, born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Personality of God is satisfied. Give up your demoniac nature and act without enmity or duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers." So that is also our instruction. Text 6. Can someone read, please?
To enjoy the results of sacrifices, yagyas, the rulers of the world, namely the sons and grandsons of Manu, discharge the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until the end of Manu's reign. The demigods also share the results of these sacrifices.
Now, for the purpose moment, we will read the purport from the middle. So, anyone interested in peaceful life, where is that?
Yeah, it's here, Maharaj. Anyone interested in peaceful life must participate in this Parampara system and perform yagyas. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas in the Parampara system of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, We must perform Sankirtana Yajna all over the world. Yagnai Sankirtana Prayar Ejantihi Sumedashaha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this age of Kali. And he will be easily satisfied if the Sankirtana movement is spread rigorously all over the world. This will also make people happy without a doubt.
So, do we want peaceful life? The hippies wanted. We need peace. We need also peace to perform devotional service. So we have to be convinced of this. How to make people happy by spreading the Sankirtan movement all over the world, and also ourselves. We must also be engaged in chanting and preaching. This is Yayatma Shubha Siddhati, the bliss and internal peace one experienced by performing pure devotional service. And now text 7 and 8. Okay. Next one.
Indra, the king of heaven, receiving benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus enjoying highly developed opulences, maintains the living entities all over the three worlds by pouring sufficient rain on all the planets. Text 8. In every yuga, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, assumes the form of siddhas such as Sanaka to preach transcendental knowledge. He assumes the form of great saintly persons such as Yajnavalkya to teach the way of karma. And he assumes the form of great yogis such as Dattatreya to teach the system of mystic yoga, purport. For the benefit of all human society, not only does the Lord assume the form of Manu as an incarnation to rule the universe properly, but he also assumes the form of a teacher, yogi, jnani, and so on for the benefit of human society. The duty of human society, therefore, is to accept the path of action enunciated by the Supreme Lord. In the present age, the sum and substance of all Vedic knowledge is to be found in Bhagavad Gita, which is personally taught by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the same Supreme Godhead, assuming the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, expands the teachings of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. In other words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is so kind and merciful to human society that he is always anxious to take the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. Thank you.
So we find the sum and substance of all Vedic knowledge in Bhagavad Gita. Varnashram Dharma, that's the plan of action. Chaturvarma Ashishtam. And of course, also Sarvadam Paichika, Mamikam Sramvacha. In this verse 1866, that is what we need to preach to the world. Most people have already given up Sarvadharma in Kali Yuga. They have given up the religious principles. But then we have to teach them to surrender to Krishna. So they have just to do the second part, surrender to Krishna. So that is the verse Srila Prabhupada wants us to preach. Whenever you meet them, instruct them. And this is the instruction. This is what the Manu, the sages, want to give to everyone. That text 9.
In the form of Prajapati Marichi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates progeny, becoming the king. He kills the thieves and rogues, and in the form of time, he annihilates everything. All the different qualities of material existence should be understood to be the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So creation, maintenance, and destruction are all qualities of the Supreme Lord. At the beginning of, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.39. At the beginning of creation, there are penance, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages, who generate. Then during the maintenance of the creation, there are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and And then Lord Shiva and the atheist, full of anger, he destroys the atheist, full of anger, and all of them are different representatives manifested as the energy of the supreme power, the supreme Lord. So how did the Lord help everyone in the churning of the ocean of milk? He infused the demons with rajas, the devas with sattva, and Vasuka with tamas or ignorance. Everyone was tired, but just to get the lila going on, he infused everyone with the respective modes, so he can do anything. Text 10.
I'll continue reading, Maharaj.
Fine. You can also read the purport.
Sure. People in general are bewildered by the illusory energy, and therefore they try to find the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through various types of research and philosophical speculation. Nonetheless, they are unable to see the Supreme Lord. Purport. Whatever actions and reactions take place for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world are actually brought about by the one Supreme Person. There are many varieties of philosophers trying to search for the ultimate cause under different names and forms, but they are unable to find the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who explains in Bhagavad Gita that he is the origin of everything and the cause of all. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. This inability is due to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Devotees therefore accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is and remain happy simply by chanting the glories of the Lord.
So at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, this inability is due to the illusory energy of the Lord. So who is happy like that? Prahlad Maharaj said, I'm happy just chanting your glories. That's the last line. They remain happy simply by chanting the glories of the Lord. So who is happy like that? Prahlad Maharaj is an example. He said, I'm happy just chanting your glories. But I'm still lamenting for the fools and rascals. In Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.25, because they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yajnavalkya and Jaimini and other compilers of religious scripture cannot know the secret. Confidential religious systems of the 12 Mahajans. They cannot understand the transcendental value of performing devotional service or chanting Hare Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra, because their minds are attracted to the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, especially the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, and the Rig Veda. Their intelligence has become dull. Thus they are busy collecting the ingredients for ritualistic ceremonies that yield only temporary benefits, such as elevation to Svargaloka for material happiness. They are not attracted to the Sankirtan movement. Instead, they are interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Sridhar Swami, in his commentary on this verse, gives a nice example. In Ayurvedic medicine, when you get a fever, then they prescribe 3 bitter medicines: Neem, Kalmik, and Shirata. And they are very bitter. Sridhar Swami compares these bitter medicines to all these other paths, because they don't know that there is a nice medicine called Miti Sanshivani. This medicine brings the dead back to life. Our medicines that brings the dead back to life is the holy name and chanting Hare Krishna. Yes, this is the medicine. They don't know about it. That instead they go for the bitter medicines. That one who doesn't chant Hare Krishna and goes for the other paths goes for the bitter medicines, which give only temporary relief. That's done. Now we have, I think, we have one more, and we finish the chapter. Okay. Can someone read 11?
Hare Krishna. In one kalpa, or 1 day of Brahma, there take place the many changes called kalpas. O king, all of these have been previously described to you by me. Learned scholars who know the past, present, future have ascertained that in a 1 day of Brahma there are 14 manus. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 8th canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The System of the Universal Management.
Yes.
Senator, your definition of sexual is synonymous with LGBTQ identity.
Can someone mute? Thank you. Okay, thank you. So we have the word vikalpa in this verse. Vikalpa in this verse means changes during one kalpa or 1 day of Brahma. But you have different kalpas. It has other meanings also. You have the Mahakalpa. There's a kalpa for Karanadokashaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu. You have a Vikalpa, this is the creation of Brahma. You have a Kalpa, that's the creation of Brahmas each day. So there are different names, different meanings of Vikalpa. Vikalpa may mean the creation of Brahma, or it may changes during 1 day of Brahma. So how do we reconcile this? It means that Vikalpa is a division of time. You can divide the creation of Brahma in kalpas, days. So in the Mahakalpa there are Vikalpas, and in Brahma's creation there are also Vikalpas. But the kalpas get much smaller in Brahma's creation. But in the kalpas there are also Vikalpas, but much smaller. Vikalpa is, in conclusion, is a division of time. So we end here with this chapter. We will now have a pause. It's till 5 o'clock. It's 4:43 now, so in 70 minutes. And we will first recap this chapter 14 and then start chapter 15. Bali Maharaj conquers the heavenly planets. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna, we will continue. Before going into chapter 15, Bali Maharaj conquers the heavenly planets. I want to have a little recap of the most important learnings from chapter 14. So chapter 14 explains the system of universal management that yeah. So we heard how the Manus, Indra, the demigods, the seven sages, how they get their position. They are appointed by the incarnation of the Lord. They are appointed. Then we heard about the Manus and the sages and their duties. It is the duty of the Manus and the sages to re-establish the principles of religion. Prabhupada comments it's also the duty of the Krishna conscious movement to help these Manus and sages by re-establishing the principles of religion. But there is a specific duty of the Manus. The Manus, they engage everyone in the occupational duties of Varna ashram. So, do we want a peaceful life? The hippies wanted peace, but we need peace also to perform our devotional service. Otherwise, we cannot think of Krishna. If the mind is too disturbed. We need to be convinced that by spreading the Sankirtan movement all over the world, people all over the world will become happy. So the Lord teaches through different sages. He teaches the preaching of transcendental knowledge to Sanak, to great sages, great saintly persons such as Jagnavalka, teaching the way of karma, is assuming the form of great yogis, teaching the system of mystic yoga. Verse 9, we learned that the Lord acts in the form of Prajapati Marichi to create progeny. So he acts as thieves and rogues in the form of time to annihilate everything. Verse 10, there was a commentary of Sridhar Swami on this verse. We read that, but I read it again. In Ayurvedic medicine, when you get a medicine,
Fever, it's wrong.
Fever, yeah. One time, trying to. When you get a fever, then they prescribe 3 bitter medicines, Neem, Kalmik, and Shirat. They are very, very bitter. Sridhar Swami compares these bitter medicines to all other paths because they don't know that there is a very nice medicine called Mita Chan Shivani. This medicine brings the dead back to life. Our medicines that brings the dead back to life is the holy name and chant of Hare Krishna. Bhaval Satak Shvata Mano Biramat. That was the recap. Now we will go into the next chapter. Chapter 15, Bali Maharaj conquers the heavenly planets. So we will start to read the introduction of the first 9 verses. Someone can start reading text 1 and 2.
I'll read. Maharaj Parikshit inquired, the Supreme Person, the Godhead, He is the proprietor of everything. Why did he beg 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj like a poor man? And when he got the gift for which he had begged, why did he nonetheless arrest Bali Maharaj? I am very much anxious to know the mystery of this contradiction.
Yes. And text 3.
Others can read.
Yep. Next.
Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, when Bali Maharaja lost all his opulence and died in the fight, Shukracharya, a descendant of Bhrigu Muni, brought him back to life. Because of this, the great soul Bali Maharaj became a disciple of Shukracharya and began to serve him with great faith, offering everything he had.
So they're serving Shukracharya very nicely. 4.
Text 4. The Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu Muni were very pleased with Bali Maharaj, who desired to conquer the kingdom of Indra. Therefore, after purifying him and properly bathing him, according to regulatory principles, they engaged him in performing the yajna known as Vishwajit.
So the yajna known as Vishwajit. Vishwajit means conquering the universe. It's the name of the sacrifice says it all. Then text 5.
Text 5. When ghee, clarified butter, was offered in the fire of sacrifice, there appeared from the fire a celestial chariot covered with gold and silk. There also appeared yellow horses like those of Indra and a flag marked with a lion.
Who is that lion? Maybe Lord Nrsimhadev. No. 6. Next
6.
one.
A gilded bow, 2 quivers of infallible arrows, and celestial armor also appear. Bali Maharaj's grandfather, Prahlad Maharaja, offered Bali a garland of flowers that would never fade, and Shukracharya gave him a conch shell.
Some gifts. 7.
7. When Maharaj Bali had thus performed the special ritualistic ceremony advised by the Brahmanas and had received by their grace the equipment for fighting, he circumambulated the Brahmanas and offered them obeisances. He also saluted Prahlad Maharaja and offered obeisances to him.
Yes. Can someone else read 8 and 9, please? Thank you.
Anandullah. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Translation. Then, after getting on the chariot given by Shukracharya, Bali Maharaj decorated with a nice colored foot protective armor on his body, equipped himself with a bow, and took up the sword and quiver arrows. When he sat down on the seat of the chariot, his arm decorated with the golden bangles and his ear with a sapphire earring, he shone like a worshipful fire. Number 10.
Yeah, moment. So, when we read these verses, Bhujam Prabhu said, imagine the demons nowadays and the demons in those days. They were more pious. To get his victory, it took shelter of the Brahmins. The demons nowadays, they wouldn't think of it. Just do it on their own strength. Success comes from the sanction of higher powers. He needed help. This is the difference between the demons in those days and the demons nowadays. Please continue to read 10:11.
10:11. Translation. When he assembled with his own soldier and the demon chief, who were equal to him in strength, opulence, and beauty, they appear as if they would swallow the sky and burn all direction with their vision. After those gathering, the demonic soldier Bali Maharaj departed for the opulent capital of Indra. Indeed, he seems to make the entire surface of the world tremble.
So he wanted to take over the heavenly planets. To go there, God actually, he needed the mercy of the Brahmins, and he got the mercy of the Brahmins. So the heavenly planets are more opulent. Text 12. Someone else, please. Text 12.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
King Indra's city was full of pleasing orchards and gardens, such as the Nandana garden. Because of the weight of the flowers, leaves, and fruits, the branches of the eternally existing trees were bending down. The gardens were visited by pairs of chirping birds and singing bees. The entire atmosphere was celestial.
Yes, but there is a commentary on this verse by Sridhar Swami, and he condemns the pleasures of the heavenly planets. Fie on the material pleasures. It's Gramya Sukha. All of a sudden, Indra and all the other demigods had to leave this kind of city. That to foster vairagya, detachment. Now Sukadev Goswami will describe in 1.5 verses Indra's city, Indraloka. Now we will hear a beautiful description of the heavenly planets, and will it make you detached? Okay. Of course, you get this beautiful place and then you have to leave. That's what we will hear. So what is the use of getting in such a beautiful place? Now we are going to hear what is heaven like. Okay, next one to read. 13 and 14, yeah.
Yes, Maharaj. Beautiful women, protected by the demigods, sported in the gardens, which had lotus ponds full of swans, cranes, chakravakas, and ducks.
14.
The city was surrounded by trenches full of Ganges water, known as Akasha Ganga, and by a high wall, which was the color of fire. Upon this wall were parapets for fighting.
Yes, this Akash Ganga is also described in the 5th canto. Ganga in the sky, in the Milky Way. A part of that is Indrapuri, Akash Ganga. Pujam Prabhu says there are places for fighting. So there must be also be fear in the heavenly planets. That the demons could come at any time. Therefore, they have a defense system. That's the high wall and so on. Yeah. Parapets for fighting. So, text 15. Next one.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
The doors were made of solid gold plates, and the gates were of excellent marble. These were linked by various public roads. The entire city had been constructed by Vishwakarma.
So Vishwakarma, he did not only construct the heavenly planets, also the Sudharma hall of the Yadus. In Dwarka, he created the entire city of Dwarka. He was the sculptor of Lord Jagannath. So he also created Sutal, the place for Bali Maharaj. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said Sutal must be as opulent as Indraloka. So Vishwakarma is a Prajapati because his daughters married the sun god. Text 19. Please read.
The city was full of courtyards, wide roads, assembly houses, and not less than 100 million airplanes. The crossroads were made of pearl, and there were sitting places made of diamond and coral.
So 100 million airplanes? No need of air traffic control tower. This means that there is more than 100 million people in the city. A huge city. There is a lot of people in that city. Like 17, 18, 19, yeah.
Everlastingly beautiful and youthful women who were dressed with clean garments glittered in the city like fires with flames. They were possessed with the quality of Shyama, purport by Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Srila Vishwachandra Thakura gives a hint of the quality of Shyama woman. Shita kale bhavet ushna, ushna kale shitalaha, sthano shukatinau yasam, taha Shyama pragriti tadaha. A woman whose body is very warm during the winter and cool during the summer, and who generally has very firm breasts, is called Shyama.
Yeah. 18.
The breezes blowing in the street of the city bore the fragrance of the flowers falling from the hair of the woman of the demigods. Text 19. Apsaras passed on the streets which were covered with the white fragrant smoke of aguru, incense emanating from the windows of the golden filigree.
Yeah, but Bhujan Prabhu comments. So we have here the nice smell of incense instead of nasty traffic fumes. So can someone else continue reading text 20?
Hare Krishna, Devashri Mataji, would you like to continue?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. The city was shaded by canopies decorated with pearls, and domes of the palaces had flags of pearl and gold. The city always resounded with the vibration of peacocks, pigeons, and bees, and above the city flew airplanes full of beautiful women who constantly chanted auspicious songs that were very pleasing to the ear.
Yes. So we heard about the sights and the smells. Now we are hearing about the sounds. Yes. 21.
The city was filled with the sounds of mridangas, conch shells, kettle drums, flutes, and well-tuned stringed instruments all playing in concert. There was constant dancing, and the Gandharvas sang. The combined beauty of Indrapuri defeated beauty personified.
Yes. So these are the sounds, beautiful instruments that are always playing in concert, full of dancing. 22.
No one who was sinful, envious, violent towards other living entities, cunning, falsely proud, lusty, or greedy could enter that city. The people who lived there were all devoid of these faults.
Yeah, and also 23.
Bali Maharaja, who was the commander of numberless soldiers, gathered his soldiers outside the abode of Indra and attacked it from all directions. He sounded the conch shell given by him, by his spiritual master Shukracharya, thus creating a fearful situation for the woman protected by Indra.
Yes, so they are all enjoying, and suddenly the sound of Bali Maharaj's conch shell comes and shatters the peaceful atmosphere. Verse 22 describes the qualities of those who cannot enter the heavenly planets. They are basically qualities of passion and ignorance. The demigods are in the mode of goodness. Of course, behind everything is lust, but there are different modes of nature. The heavenly planets are in the mode of goodness. When you have a symptoms of lower modes, then you cannot go to the heavenly planets. You stay in the lower planets or the earth. That is described in Bhagavad Gita. The modes are mixed, but those in the heavenly planets are basically in goodness. Bali Maharaj and the demons took shelter of the Brahmins who were in the mode of goodness. It was because of the piety of the Brahmins. By their own strength, they could not go to the heavenly planets. They are in the lower modes. They were demons. But on the strength of Bhrigu, the Brahmins, they could go. Bhrigu is the origin of Shukracharya, who is the guru of the demons. Bhrigu and Angira are the sons of Brahma, and the descendant of Bhrigu is Shukracharya. He is the spiritual master of the demons. So Angira is the father of Brihaspati. In Srimad Bhagavatam 4, 9, 10. By Dhruva Maharaj, my Lord, so Dhruva Maharaj is speaking, my Lord, the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon your lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotees is so unlimited that it is far beyond the stage of Brahmananda, wherein one thinks oneself merged into the impersonal Brahman as one with the Supreme. Since Brahmananda is also defeated by the transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, then what to speak of the temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets, which is ended by the separating thought of time? Temporary. Although one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time. Now we are talking about going to the heavenly planets. I want to have an analogy about going to the heavenly planet. The Ferris wheel, it goes up and it comes down. So we find that on pleasure parks. This Ferris wheel goes up very high, comes down. It's a big wheel going up and down. We find it in amusement parks. So of another analogy is flying with an airplane. You go up, but you have to come back to the earth. And when the fuel is finished, you have to come back. So people perform pious activities, sacrifice to go up there. And then when their pious activities are finished, they come back down. We heard the description of the heavenly planets, peace, music, dancing, enjoyment, and all of a sudden the conch shell of Bali Maharaj sounded, and it's all finished. Text 24. Can someone read?
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Seeing Bali Maharaja's indefatigable endeavor and understanding his motive, King Indra, along with the other demigods, approached his spiritual master, Brihaspati, and spoke as follows.
So Indra is approaching Brihaspati to get an answer of what is happening. So you can continue reading from till text 28 included.
Yes, Maharaj. My lord, our old enemy, Bali Maharaja, now has new enthusiasm, and he has obtained such astonishing power that we think that perhaps we cannot resist his prowess.
His prowess, yes.
Text 26. No one anywhere can counteract this military arrangement of Bali's. It now appears that Bali is trying to drink up the entire universe with his mouth, lick up the 10 directions with his tongue, and rise fire in every direction with his eyes. Indeed, he has arisen like the annihilating fire known as Samvartaka.
27.
Yeah. Kindly inform me, what is the cause for Bali Maharaja's strength, endeavor, influence, and victory? How has he become so enthusiastic?
28.
Brihaspati, the spiritual master of demigods, said, O Indra, I know the cause for your enemies becoming so powerful. The Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu Muni, being pleased by Bali Maharaja, their disciples endowed him with such extraordinary power. Thank you, Maharaj.
Purport. Can read the purport also.
Yes, ma'am. Brahaspati, the spiritual master of demigods, informed Indra, ordinarily Bali and his forces could not achieve such strength, but it appears that the Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu Muni, being pleased with Bali Maharaja, endowed them with his spiritual power. In other words, Brihaspati informed Indra that Bali Maharaja's prowess was not his own but that of the exalted Guru Shukracharya. We sing in our daily prayers, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya aprasadhan nagati kutopi. By the pleasure of the spiritual master, one gets extraordinary power, especially in spiritual advancement. The blessing of the spiritual master are more powerful than one's personal endeavor for such advancement. Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Aikya Arna Koriho Mane Asha. Especially for spiritual advancement, one should carry out bona fide order of the spiritual master. By the Parampara system, one can thus be endowed with the original spiritual power coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajashayo Viduhu. Bhagavad Gita 4.2.
Thank you. We will go again to this purport now, a little slower. So, in this verse, the reason is pointed out why the demons could go to the heavenly planets. It's Brahma teachers. They got empowered by the Brahmins. So it is explained in the purport that Bali Maharaj's prowess was not his own, but that of his exalted Guru Shukracharya. So he has got it's not his own power, but the power of Shukracharya that propelled them up there. There are other examples of this in the Mahabharata, that someone was sent to the heavenly planets by some gurus. It was Trisanka. He was sent up, but Indra would send him back down, and he ended up upside down, and his guru stopped him in the middle of the sky, and now he's still there. He has now his own heaven in the sky provided by his Guru Maharaj, but he could not maintain it. So it says, Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasada, Yasya Prasada Na Katikotopi. So the blessings of the spiritual master are more powerful than one's personal endeavor. So yes, that this is, it's like Kripa Siddhi. Someone works hard for money, but someone else meets a wealthy person and he just gives him the money. So that is the blessings of the spiritual master. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Siddhite Koriya Akya Arna Koriya Mani Asa. So it is said, especially for spiritual advancement, one should carry out the bona fide order of the spiritual master. By the Parampara system, one can thus be endowed with the original power coming from the personality of God, that Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajashayo Vidu. So that is our movement. Our movement is not to go to heaven, but to get the blessings of the spiritual master. And as we heard in the previous chapter, to help to re-establish the religious principles in this age of Kali. So that is our movement, that is our desire, that is our parampara. Whereas other religions, it seems that most of the people want to go to heaven and enjoy. But our idea is to go and serve Krishna, here or there, anywhere. This is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, verse 772. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati said that one can become perfectly successful in the mission of his life if he acts exactly according to the words he hears from the mouth of the spiritual master. The acceptance of the words of the spiritual master is called Shrauta Vakya, which indicates that the disciple must carry out the spiritual master's instructions without deviation. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks that the disciple must accept the words of his spiritual master as his life and soul. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here confirms the saying that since his spiritual master ordered him only to chant the holy name of Krishna, he always chanted the Hare Krishna mantra according to his directions. Krishna Maitra Japa Sada E Mantra Sara. This is our position also. We need to accept the instructions of the spiritual master as our life and soul. If we don't do that, then we go after something as the heavenly planets, which is like a mirage in the desert. So now we will hear further from Brihaspati. Can someone read text 29?
Krishna, Jagdish Prabhu.
Yes, ma'am. Neither you nor your men can conquer the most powerful Bali. Indeed, no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can conquer him. For he is now equipped with the supreme spiritual power, Brahma Tejas, as no one can stand before Yamaraja. No one can now stand before Bali Maharaja.
This is the power of the Brahmins. It is not Bali's own power. It is the Brahma Tejas from Sukracharya, text 30.
Therefore, waiting until the situation of our enemies is reversed, you should all leave this heavenly planet and go elsewhere, where you will not be seen.
So does the advice of the Guru. Get out of town, he said, because you cannot defeat Bali Maharaj now because he's too powerful because of the benediction of Sukracharya. Text 31.
Bali Maharaja has now become extremely powerful because of the benediction given him by the Brahmanas. But when he later insulted the Brahmanas, he will be vanquished along with his friends and assistants.
Read also the purport.
Bali Maharaja and Indra were enemies. Therefore, when Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, predicted that Bali Maharaja would be vanquished when he insulted the Brahmanas, by whose grace he had become so powerful, Bali Maharaja's enemies were naturally anxious to know when that opportunity moment would come to pacify King Indra. Brihaspati assured him that the time would certainly come, for Brihaspati could see that in the future Bali Maharaj would defy the orders of Sukracharya in order to pacify Lord Vishnu, Vamana Deva. Of course, to advance in Krishna consciousness, one can take all risks to please Vamana Deva. Bali Maharaja risked defying the order of his spiritual master Sukracharya. Because of this, he would lose all his property. Yet, because of the devotional service to the Lord, he would get more than he expected. And in the future, in the 8th Manvantara, he would occupy the throne of Indra again.
So now Indra is happy because in the future he will get back heaven. But Srila Prabhupada writes, you must see the purpose of Bali defying the order of his spiritual master. It was to please Lord Vishnu, Vamandev. So for that, you can take all risks. This is a lecture of Srila Prabhupada on 1.3.19 of the Bhagavatam. This is the verse on Vamandev. Bali rejected his spiritual master, and by doing so, he became a Mahajan. Generally, you cannot do that because the spiritual master is supposed to take responsibility, whole life for good. And we are supposed to be obedient. When you reject your spiritual master, you become a great sinner. He rejected based on sadistic grounds because he rejected for Vishnu worship. So such spiritual master must be rejected. Anything favorable for Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and unfavorable should be rejected. Now, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, insults of the Brahmins is mentioned here only in the social sense. Bali's disrespect to the Brahmins was favorable to Vishnu Bhakti. That is exactly what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And thus it became his great glory. It bestowed upon him Svarga in the form of Sutal, and Vamandev became his doorkeeper. And in the next Manvantar, Bali will become Indra. So by surrendering to Vamandev, he got 3 wonderful benedictions. He got Sutal, he got the Lord as his doorkeeper, Jyotidhar, and he will become Indra. It was only a temporary loss. But Shiva Goswami says, transgressing the conventional Guru's words by Bali, who took the side of the Lord. And then he quotes 5.5.18 of the Bhagavatam. Guna sasya chvachanana sasyana pitana sasya chananina sasya devena tasyan napatisna nasasyan namoksaye ya samupetamityam. One who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. Lord Rishabhadev instructs his sons. Still, according to conventional social norms, this has been called disrespect. Such allegiance to the demons is unsuitable for persons like Bali. So he easily gave up this misery, socially considered to be happiness. By giving charity to the Lord, he got beyond any measure the supreme happiness by engaging in devotional service to the Lord. Also in Bhagavatam 5.24.24. Alas, how pitiable it is for Indra, the king of heaven, although he is very learned and powerful, and although he chose Brihaspati as his prime minister to instruct him, he is completely ignorant concerning spiritual advancement. So the Lord became his doorkeeper, completely under his control. And as a side effect, he got Sutal, which exceeds the heavenly planets, and the next Manvantar he will become Indra. And now we will hear text 32.
Text 32, translation. Shukadev Goswami continued. The demigods, being thus advised by Brihaspati for their benefit, immediately accepted his words. Assuming forms according to their desire, they left the heavenly kingdom and scattered without being observed by the demons. The word Kama Rupinaha indicates that the demigods, the inhabitants of the heavenly planets, can assume any form they desire. Thus, It was not at all difficult for them to remain incognito before the eyes of the demon.
Yeah.
6:33.
I read in Mahabharata somewhere that Indra took the form of a peacock. So peacocks and Indra are friends. When the thunder and the rainy clouds come, then the peacocks are dancing. There is a relationship as Indra took their form, dancing. And Yamaraj took the form of a black crow. And because of this, the crows have a special benediction from Yamaraj. Unless someone kills them, they will not die. They have a very long life, the crows. Sukracharya is a devotee of Vishnu. But he went again, his own words. Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj are two Mahajans, pure devotees. The type of guru that Sukracharya was that he worshipped Vishnu, but as a formality, official. When it helps me, then I worship. But when it's going to harm me, then I go against. When I lose my maintenance, then better not. Vishnu is going to take all our money, and I will not have any maintenance. These were the arguments of Sukracharya. These Brahmins are Karmakandya Brahmins, but they also got their power from Vishnu. Without worshipping Vishnu, you won't get success in your Karmakanda. Karmakandis or Smarta Brahmins is another word. Vamandeva asked Sukracharya, what Bali did wrong that you cursed him? What's the problem? So yes, if someone is chanting the holy name, then there is no fault. Vishnu, he cannot cheat. But to his disciple he said, don't give to Vishnu. Text 33. Next one to read, 33.
When the demigod had disappeared, Bali Maharaj, the son of Vroshana, entered the heavenly kingdom, and from there he brought the three worlds under his control.
Take 34 also.
The Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu, being very pleased with their disciple, who had conquered the entire universe, now engaged him in performing 100 Aswamedha sacrifices.
The 100 Aswamedha sacrifices. This number you need to become Indra. So you can read the purport now.
We have seen in the dispute between Maharaj Prithu and Indra that when Maharaj Prithu wanted to perform 100 Aswamedha yajnas, Indra wanted to impute him, for it is because of such great sacrifice that Indra was made king of heaven. Here the Brahmana descendants of Bhrigu decide that although Maharaj Bali was seated on the throne of Indra, he would not be able to stay there unless he performed such sacrifice. Therefore, they advised Maharaj Bali to perform at least as many Aswamedha yajnas as Indra. The word Ayashjaya indicate that all the Brahmanas induced Bali Maharaj to perform such sacrifice.
Yes, that Bali got there by their power, but to stay, he needed to become qualified. He had to do the work of becoming Indra. We can see the mentality of people long ago and nowadays. They wanted to satisfy the Brahmins to get power. Today, I will bribe someone or do this or do that. By any hook or crook, I will become president. This is the difference we can see. Even Bali Maharaj, in a demoniac family, he gets some prior credits. We will firstly read the next two the last two verses before going into question and answer. Text, can someone read 35 and 36, please?
When Bali Maharaja performed these sacrifices, he gained a great reputation in all directions throughout the three worlds. Thus he shone in his position like the brilliant moon in the sky.
36.
Because of the favor of the Brahmanas, the great Sal Bali Maharaja, thinking himself very satisfied, became very opulent and prosperous and began to enjoy the kingdom.
Yeah, purport, please.
The Brahmanas are called Dija Deva, and Kshatriyas are generally called Nara Deva. The word Deva actually refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Brahmanas guide human society in becoming happy by satisfying Lord Vishnu. And according to their advice, the Kshatriyas, who are called Naradeva, keep law and order so that other people, namely the Vaishyas and Shudras, may properly follow regulated principles. In this way, people are gradually elevated to Krishna consciousness. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Bali Maharaja Conquers the Heavenly Planets. Thank you.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada explains in 3.123. The stages or persons who completely devoted themselves to spiritual upliftment of the entire human society were known as Dvija Deva, the best among the twice born. The demons of superior planets from moon planet and upwards were known as Devas. Both the Dvija Devas and the Devas always established temples of Lord Vishnu in his various forms, such as Govinda, Madhusudan, Nrsimha, Madhav, Narayan, Padmanabh, Parthsarathi, and many others. Why is it that he cannot stay there actually? He does not have the piety. He will do the 100 Asvamedha Yagyas, but when he is there, he is putting the demons in key positions. The Lord wants the pious people to be in charge of the universe. But sometimes it happens that someone else is getting the management. Then the Lord comes as an incarnation. Bali is not supposed to be Indra during this Manu. It is Purandar. So he has to be taken out by the incarnation of the Lord. So, Samai Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I just was remembered that here it said that if you have to become an Indra, you have to perform 100 Ashwamedha sacrifices. I remember reading in Tulsi Mahatmya, the glories of Tulsi Maharani. Anybody who is wearing a Kanti Mala, and they take each step is equal to one Ashwamedha Yagya. So then all they need to do is just take 100 steps and then they get the benefit of doing 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas. So I was just thinking like that.
Oh, okay. Good. Of course, they don't want to go there, but
yeah,
they are more than qualified, but they don't want to go there. Thank you. Good. Anything else? We have 5 minutes. Yadaraj Krishna Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have a question. Maharaj, here only some time back, we saw that the demigod churned to get the nectar upon the advice of Lord Vishnu. So they put so much effort to get the nectar, and then some of them died in the process. And once after they drank the nectar, and here we're seeing that they have been defeated by the demons just because they got the mercy of their guru Sukracharya, who happened to be not appear to devotee, he happened to be a materialistic guru. But here, so how we can understand Mara? Because the nectar given by the Lord himself kind of have been defeated by the mercy of Sukracharya. So how we can understand this, Maharaj?
Yeah, this nectar of the demigods is the nectar of immortality. Immortality means they become like immortal. It's not really immortal in the eternal sense, but they get a long life and they are protected against that death during that time. And therefore they wanted to get the nectar, but this nectar does not make them invincible. They have still been conquered by the demons, although they have the nectar, so-called. So the nectar of immortality does not help them to protect against the attacks of the demons. Interesting. Yeah, that's good. There are no questions. We will finish here and start tomorrow with first again a recap of this section, and then we go into the Payovrata process of worship, the only drinking milk Vrataval. Interesting. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.